get my copy of Sonic 2 on Blu-ray with a special comic book. I get a Pokemon Direct to start off this month, and now Splatoon 3 Direct a week later. To borrow a line from Shave, I was surprised to be sure, but a welcome one. So here are my reaction and thoughts on today's Splatoon 3 Direct. I'm going to be focusing mainly on the new information, though if something did carry over from the previous two games, I will mention it, so here we go. So, the presentation leads off with some Squid vibing, and leading us into the presentation itself, which is a research report presentation. They're keeping the same kind of style they had with the first two games, which I really like how the uniqueness of it all plays into. And which segues into the first of many information of the ensuing half-hour presentation, just about. So, the main setting of the game is Splatsville, and the main gameplay draw remains the same. And very much like the whole not broken, don't fix approach to game design, where in the Turf War multiplayer, here 4 versus 4, old techniques join whole new mechanics, and I'll get into them more not only over the course of this video, but also as the release on September 9th gets closer, of course. Of course, there are going to be a selection of new stages at launch, including the Scorch Gorge, the Mincemeat Metalworks, the Undertow Alley, the Undertow Spillway, and my personal favorite of the ones I just revealed, the Haggle Fish Market, which definitely leans into the whole Mad Max parallels I'm seeing with the setting already, as if to say, who runs Barter Town? Yeah. Of course, we have a selection of stages returning from the first two games, with Greater Inkopolis as taking their makeup, and I gotta say, I'm really pleased with the selection we're going to be having at launch, with more to come, including some ones that from the first game on the Wii U that kind of got left out on this first sequel on Switch. I will definitely say that I have much more likely to see more of this than the proposed Greater Idaho, as I call it, Lesser Idaho. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so got more details to unpack here. Of course, we have a whole array of returning weapons alongside the new ones. Before I get into two of the major ones, I'll definitely be stating that my favorite ones are probably the rollers, because we can use it to give coverage easy. Have a countermeasure to those who are using long-range weapons, and also something I enjoy, like just the vertical slice option, which I had in the second game. That's kind of fun. Of like the projectile weapons, my favorites are probably the NZAP ones, like the NZAP 89, 85, and 83, which should definitely tell you something about my pop culture age. Hence why I hung that poster with Rob there, why they originally were trying to sell the NES as more of an entertainment system and a toy rather than a full-on game console at first. I could definitely say it worked. So, we have two new weapon types. One we're seeing more of it we've introduced to fairly early on is like the Stringer Bow, which is a ranged weapon, and that can definitely fire in multiple directions and plenty of coverage. And another one I'm eager to try is the Splatana Wiper. It's basically a sword, which is another kind of bladed weapon where you can use it to spread ink all over the field or to combat your enemies with. Eager to get my hands on it. And now, on to some of the new specials as well. Okay. On top of my personal favorite, the Crab Tank, also getting off some more footage being tied to another weapons imitation, the Dualies. We've got whole new ones, such as the Tacti-Cooler, which grants you and your teammates power-ups, the Wave Breaker, which is a sort of a wave breaker that sends shockwaves of ink throughout the battlefield. And another one I'll probably enjoy using, the Reef Slider, which has like a shark sending ink after your opponent as if to say, OP shark do 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 do, OP shark do 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 do. Yeah. Of course, Sheldon is still a supplier at Ammo Nights, but this time around, rather than cash, we actually get the Sheldon tickets. It's licenses, rather, which are kind of tickets that let you get the weapons, like which one corresponds to your skill level or the skill level of the weapon, and if you have enough tickets, he will give you that weapon early. And now, onto the apparel slash gear in this game. Our suppliers for Headgear are Gnarly Eddy and his pale nails, the snail. He'll at Naut Couture, given how he's a Nautilus for the headgear. We have Jel-La-Fleur, who may be related to Jalonzo and Jalfonso in the first two games with the Mana Wardrobe clothes. And of course, a personal favorite, of course, is Mr. Coco with the crustacean shoes. I'm definitely going to be spending lots of coin there, since he's yet another crustacean who wears his favorite shoes on his multiple limbs. Yeah. For special orders, we still have Murch, who, in the 5 years in and out of the universe since the last game, he seems to have gotten older. He looks kind of like Spike from the first game. And he will sell you not only a gear that's normally hard to get from other players, but he will also help give you special ability slots for the sea snails you cut in the first two games. Now, onward. So, the ranked modes are back in the form of the Anarchy battle, which is not going to be right at launch, what I heard, but once you reach a certain rank, and also when that feature rolled out, it'll be accessible. I also kind of like how you can potentially carry over at least some of your rank from the previous game on Switch to this one, which, as someone who is not done with the ranks yet and is also hoping to do the Simheim in the first game before the servers go dark, yes, I still play it. It's definitely going to be interesting to pull off, so there's that. And a brief new addition, we have the locker rooms, which look spiffy, and nice little way to show off your preferred weapons and gear, as well as another way for decorating them. We have Harmony, who runs an art store known as Hotlantis, and also can get you certain splash tags and emotes to add to your character, as including stuff you can order through catalogs, which will be through the year 2024, so there's already going to be at least 2 years post-launch support for the game, which is always a good sign. I noticed that Nintendo typically does not really do the whole live service angle as much as other does, like Ubisoft, EA, or Activision typically would, but they definitely do it differently. And if I'm being totally honest, this is what I prefer them to do, even if there's still areas need to improve upon, so yeah. We also have a new mini game you can play while you're waiting for login, the Table Turf card game. So if you ever wanted to see what's their equivalent of like Pokemon, TCG, Yu-Gi-Oh, or Magic would be like, I guess this would be it. For the record, I do not play Magic, but at the very least I understand its appeal, so if I don't personally plan on playing it myself ever, so there's that. Yeah. We've got another update on the next wave of the Salmon Run, and how it's managed to be striking even in more than the last game had. I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me. Yes, we got new bosses and new big shots to deal with them, which include the egg cannons and the king salmonids. We also have the big run where they try to attack the city itself, making in us Grizz's first, last, only line of defense against the worst scum in the Splatlands. So, yeah. And we have more details on the story mode, which I'll be playing first. The Return of the Mammalians, which, on top of serving as a nice little way to get acquainted with the mechanics, is something I've been building up ever since the first game, and should explain why squids and octopi became the new dominant species on Earth after humans. Though, thankfully, those cute kitty cats survived, and also, should note of why the octolings have fur now for some reason. I'm no expert, but I had to look into whether or not cephalopods can grow fur. I know some of their forms do show they have beaks at least, so there's that. Okay, we also have the mailbox being back, the last reminder of the Miiverse, especially with the art it produces, has been, and also the recon mode, which should be useful to help check on new stages, and which also should be into another gameplay mechanic I'm going to talk about. Alright, so on the mobile app, we have Splatnet 3. I have not used it before, but I think the bonuses it grants in terms of content and gear, that is enticing to me if I can get it working, so I'll see what I can do with it before I get into the next part of this video. First, we have one feature that's returning from the previous games. Amiibo! That's right, on top of some new figures coming later this year, her supply chain issues and inflation notwithstanding, and that's also the existing ones are going to be compatible, and have some new gear and exclusives unique to this game. I'm glad I held on to mine, and why I'm glad that this is the last link of the Toys to Life aspect, and especially given how it was more flexible, Calvin could do more things with them compared to other games. Well, like compared to like the Skylanders or the Disney Infinity, so there's that. Much like the catalogs, there'll be frequent updates for the game through 2024 or so. On top of the content we got at launch, the League Battle and the Cross Battle will be joining in post-launch. There's also going to be post-launch story DLC, much like the auto expansion had in the case of the last game. And to close this out, we have one last mega announcement here. So here we go. Last, but definitely not least, we have our new hosts of the Deep Cut Anarchy Splatcast, Fry, Shiver, and Big Man. And the Splatfest also coming back, starting with a preview featuring the Tricolor Turf War on August 27th, and the Penny Arcade Expo West Invitational Tournament will be on September the 5th. Definitely meaning that this game is going to be another example that even with Zelda being pushed to next year, we'll definitely have a lot to talk about. So that'll be all for now. Take care, everyone.